I know a lot of entrepreneurs, I think more than most entrepreneurs know. And the reason why is because the nature of what my company does, the hub, is we have, you know, thousands of brands that have used our platform, and I call a lot of them just customer service stuff, and I talk to lots of small companies. And when it's a small company, it's usually the founder that, or, someone quite high up, if not the founder that I'm speaking to. And in my experience, there's sort of two flavors of founders. I know one guy, for example, he's from my hometown and he's used my platform. He worked as a consultant and he has documented his journey since the beginning, his entrepreneurship journey. And he was very open about testing 5 different products to see which one had the most traction, like 5 completely different things. One might have been a granola bar, and one might have been a nut butter, and they're all food things. One might have been a, whatever, sparkling water. And he wanted to see which of those spaces had the most potential and the most momentum. And then he picked the product and then he started a company. And so for him, it's always been, in consulting, it's called a case, or in business school, it's called a case, sort of like a academic exercise in, like, can I identify a space that is disruptible and come up with something to thrust into it that people want to buy. And it's sort of a math problem, a economics problem, just an academic challenge. And then on the other hand, one of my other clients, he and his wife started the project in their kitchen, making it for themselves. And um, it came out of like a real need and a real want and a real, honest place. Um, and so there's a real passion behind it because they were sort of solving, there's this story you hear a lot. I had a problem, I solved it for me, and then I realized other people had this problem and I started solving it for them. And those stories, it almost sounds like entrepreneurship, or the company is pulled out of you. Like, whoops, I didn't mean for that to happen. It just sort of happened. Other people seem to like it. And so I guess I just did it. Whereas in the first scenario, you you pull it out of yourself. You're like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. Let me figure out how to do this. And I tend to have much more respect for the people who start out of passion. And I tend to think they succeed more than most, because no matter how smart you are or how like big the opportunity, it's really hard and really lonely and really treacherous. And in those moments of darkness, which happen weekly for most entrepreneurs, if it's just your mind leading you, your mind is weak, but your heart, your passion can carry you through if you really believe in it. So um, I think people that start a company from heart will succeed more than those that started with their mind. And I would describe myself that way, which is to say, like, I just sort of I witnessed and experienced the pain point that I'm trying to solve for with my company. I worked at an ad agency and watched content being made for large companies in the most inefficient and expensive and thoughtless ways. I, in the early days of my company, got to know hundreds and ultimately thousands of young, incredibly talented photographers that are nobodies. They work at Starbucks and they live in some suburb of some random city, and they're never going to shoot for a brand anyone's heard of because they're never going to be found. And so these big brands that are doing it so wrong, and these little photographers that have so much talent, it's like, if only they could find each other. And so there's like a deep passion that drives what I do. And that's the company has sort of vomited out of that. Not like me sitting in a room being like, what can I do? What can I do?